Interview is being taped in March of 2011, and 18 years ago in April, I launched a television show in Los Angeles called Tinseltown's Queer, which I described as a Queen's version of Larry King. I particularly loved that show because I had the opportunity to have extended conversations with fascinating people who are involved in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered civil rights movement. Now, in this international show, Snowbiz 24/7, I'm proud to introduce my Ready for the Close-Up section, which revisits that format of an extended interview with a very interesting person. And my inaugural guest on this new segment of Snowbiz 24/7 is one of the preeminent gay activists in Thailand, and his name is Kun Paisarn Likhitpreechakul, right?
That's correct. Swadikap.
Swadikap. Well, first of all, I've known of your work for quite a while, but this is the first time I get to meet you in person, so it's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me too.
And thank you for all that you do on behalf of so many. I'd like to explore in this interview a little bit about your own background and then your perspectives of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender civil rights movement as it relates to Thailand and internationally. So, first of all, how old are you?
I am 39.
Oh, you look very young.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm sure you say that to all the boys.
I don't, actually, but it's true in your case.
Thank you.
And I take it you were born and raised in Thailand?
Yes.
Your whole life?
Yes.
And did you ever live abroad?
I lived in Japan for a few years, and I also traveled quite a lot.
Okay.
In my younger years.
Now, I know that many people within the LGBTQ community would describe themselves differently. Do you identify as a gay man?
Yes, I am gay.
Okay. And at what point did you know that you were gay?
I guess I'm a late bloomer. Never really had a same-sex experience until quite late. Well, except like in middle high school when you played a little bit with other boys. But I guess sexually or more intimate stuff didn't begin until I was like 19.
Okay.
And then after that, I also struggled a little bit also with my homosexuality. And it's not until I met my first boyfriend, now an ex-boyfriend, when I was 21, and that's probably pretty much when I realized and accepted the fact that I'm gay.
So, were you 21 in the mid-90s? Am I doing my math right?
Yes, it is more like early 90s.
The early 90s, okay. And who did you tell first? When you figured out you were gay, who did you tell first?
Well, I guess the most important thing is to tell yourself.
Okay.
To be comfortable with the facts and with who you are. And then I started with, some close friends, usually female friends, because, they are usually more open to such a thing. And and then from then on, I came out to my family when I was 25. And from then it's not a big deal anymore. It's not a big problem anymore.
Was that in Bangkok or in another province?
My family is in Uttaradit province in the north.
Okay, and how did they react?
Well, at that time it's quite a difficult situation because they also needed me at home to deal with some problems that the family is going through. So I returned to them. At that time, I was going to settle with my, my ex, my boyfriend then, in the United States. But something happened at home. They wanted me back home, so I came back, and tried to, set things right. And before I was scheduled to leave, like 3 months later, they came. Was my mom and my dad came, and sit across from me, and then they went down on their knees and begged me not to leave. So at that point, well, I told them I would really love to be with them, help them, stay with them longer, but I have someone else waiting for me, and it was a he, not a she. So they should know about that, and at that time, it seemed to me like that is the point that I need to tell them why it is very important for me to, share this with them, and if they want me to be with them, and I hope, of course, want to be with them, then I want them to know everything about me and accept me as who I am.
Tell me about well, first of all, I have found that Thai people are very devoted to their families, and it's often quite a struggle to choose your own life over the obligations that one has to your family. So how have you balanced that issue?
Well, not very well, I guess, because not long after that, my boyfriend and I broke up because of the fact that I couldn't be with him, and that's something that he really, really wanted, to be together and start a family together. So in the end, I guess, I didn't do a very good job
family
balancing. You can say that, and I think I don't regret that.
Okay.
the way I did it, because it needed to be done that way from my perspective.
Tell me about your journey into activism. How did you become an activist? What was your first sort of big political move?
I guess I'm an accidental activist. Kind of drifted into it. I started a gay column in the Nation newspaper back in 2002.
Which still exists today.
Which still exists in a different name, in a different form, but yes, it still exists. And
how did that come about?
I don't know. I guess at that time, after breaking up with my boyfriend, I asked permission from my family to live a little more, and at least if I don't have my love life, maybe I can have a little bit more of my professional life. So I came back to the Nation to work again. I worked with them back in 1996, but I came back again in 2002. And at that time, the Nation was thinking about launching new entertainment section called Weekend, and the editor is a very good friend of mine, Ann. And I don't know what she was thinking, but she asked me to would you be interested to start a gay column? And I guess I didn't really know much about the gay scene or anything at that time, or even now. But I thought it would be interesting. It would be something new, and not done in a mainstream newspaper in Thailand. I mean, this is back in 2002.
What was the column called then, and what is it called now? I read it religiously. It's generally now a whole page, right?
Well, it was called Out and About at that time, and I didn't go with under my real name. It was written by AYOR, at your own risk, and it was kind of cheeky pseudonym, but also I guess I was not really confident about what I was writing at that time yet. Didn't know how it would be received, and also the impact on other people's life who I might mention in my column. So I was on a more cautious mode, but that format came to end in I think 2007 or 2008, and then the Nation relaunched a new section called now XP, which is a new format, and it still has the gay column, but now it's called Soho.
Right.
Like Soho in London, but at the same time, Soho in a bracket sexual. So
Exactly.
homosexual, sorry. So homosexual.
I gotcha. I am a homosexual. Yes.
So that's the idea.
All right, but I know that often they will have 2 or 3 related articles on the same page, along with Soho.
Not anymore. At one point, it has some other items as well, gear-related
Okay.
items. But at this moment in time, we only have the column weekly, which is an improvement from before. Out and About, the first version was like every 2 weeks.
Okay. Do you live full time in Bangkok, or where are you based?
No, believe it or not, I'm a country boy, and I'm still a country boy. I'm based back in Uttaradit, but I also come to Bangkok, when work calls for it.
Okay. Okay. We're at the 10-minute mark, about halfway through the interview. Tell me what you believe are the key issues facing the LGBTQ community in Thailand today.
Wow, such a big question in 8 minutes.
Well, you can answer briefly and I'll interject, but in general.
Well, I guess social attitude counts a lot. A lot of foreigners, come to Thailand and they think that, Thailand is such a gay paradise. But of course, they don't live the life of Thai LGBTs and they don't understand the kind of discrimination that actually still exists in Thai society. I mean,
what is that? What is the discrimination that still exists?
I mean, you come here and you see, a lot of transgenders who are called Kathoey here. And, you see them live their life openly. They are also employed in a lot of places. Like when you go to convenience stores like 7-Eleven, they also work there. Or in department stores, they also work there. But I mean, of course, visibility doesn't mean equality, right? Otherwise,
Right.
half of the Thai populations are women, and they are also out there. So they must be equal? No, of course, that's not the case, right? So they are out there, yes, but they are pigeonholed into certain professions. They can be hairdressers, they can be
Cabaret performers.
Yeah, cabaret performers, exactly. But you wouldn't dare to think that a transgender would one day be a lawyer or a doctor. You don't see that in Thailand.
Now they can be airline stewardesses.
Yes, that's a very significant improvement. I admit that there have been a lot of changes in recent years, but the social attitude hasn't really caught up with that. I mean, if Thailand is really accepting of transgenders, why would the news that now there's a transgender flight attendant would be a big news?
And it was an international story. We're conducting this interview on the patio of Coffee Society, and it is in the sort of the gay center of Bangkok if you're a Westerner. It's by no means the gay center of Bangkok if you are a Thai person. There's a couple of other communities in Bangkok that would qualify. But I wanted these interviews to take place in sort of the heart of the Western gay district because my audience is basically English language. But when the tourist comes, they'll often come to this venue.
Yeah.
They'll bounce between Soi 4, which is where telephone and balcony are. They'll go to Soi 2, which is where the DJ station is.
Right.
Some of them will bounce over to Babylon, and their whole view of the gay scene in Bangkok is kind of a tourism snapshot taken over a few days.
Exactly, yes.
And they really, even me, I've been here for 5 years, and I still feel like I'm barely getting a grasp of what it's really like to be a member of the LGBTQ community in Thailand.
I mean, we talk a lot already about transgenders, how they are pigeonholed into certain type of careers, but we haven't talked much about gay men and women. And of course, you have been here a long time. How many openly gay public figures can you name?
None. I can't name. How about you? I mean,
I probably can name a few more, but that wouldn't be like in my two hands.
Exactly. What's interesting to me is that you have so many people in Thailand that are clearly gay that just never say so. I mean, they're kind of people who they're not in the closet, but they're not out.
Right. Because, it's something that is sex in general is a taboo subject in Thailand. I mean, it's is a little bit incredible, right? I mean, a lot of people think Thailand, well, people might not be happy when I say it, but a lot of people think Thailand is the sex capital of Asia or even of the world, and like they have the impression that everything is okay, but well, maybe Thai people do a lot of things, but they don't speak about it. It's not an issue that they talk much about.
You know what fascinates me, and this isn't specifically a gay thing, but in the West, if you go to the gym and you go to the locker room, everybody's naked. But if you go into a locker room in a gym in Thailand, everyone undresses under their towels, and there basically is no nudity in Thailand.
Right.
Why is that?
I don't have a gym membership, so
I personally wish that would change. I'm tired of
question.
not being able to look at gay men. I mean, at naked men at the gym, I wish I could do that. But I think that's interesting.
Well, the other thing why the reason why most gay Thai men and women don't come out is the same thing with transgenders too, because in Thai social attitude, a lot of people still cling on to the archaic belief that you are born LGBTIs, transgenders, gay, lesbian because bad karma, because you have done some bad karma in your previous life. And that kind of stigmatization, also comes to haunt you. In this life, some people even think that being LGBTI itself is a kind of, morally wrong, that you are a sinner just by being LGBTI. And that's why they don't come out, because they are seen as morally defective, unfit for, to be treated equally like everyone else.
Well, in the last couple of minutes of our interview, why don't you speak to the audience? Speak to the Thai, the English-speaking Thais out there, and give them words of wisdom and encouragement.
Well, I guess if you are gay, lesbian, transgenders, you're also a human being like everyone else, and you deserve no less. So, I guess, well, that's it. I think that's the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm doing it for me.
Yes.
I don't feel that I deserve less than anyone else for being gay. So,
how can people connect with you and the community who want to be involved? What are ways that they can become engaged with what's going on in Thailand?
Okay, a lot of things are happening now. People are more aware of human rights issues, and people are also taking more seriously LGBTI issues. And we also have Facebook page.
What's the name of the page?
Well, it is a little bit
It's
difficult.
in Thai.
Yes, it is in Thai.
We'll put that link on the GSpace Facebook page.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that way it is the easiest way to connect with what we are doing right now. And yes, I hope more people will join us.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me on the first in-depth interview on Snowbiz 24/7, and I
Thank you.
congratulate you on your ongoing work.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor.
And I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for lots of exciting episodes of Snowbiz 24/7. สวัสดีครับ
Thank you.